So this is the Singer buttonholer for, it's an attachment to go on a sewing machine, any kind of sewing machine that doesn't already have a buttonhole attachment. As you can see, this is a very old machine. She's 100 years old. It only does a straight forward stitch, so no buttonholing, no zigzag, nothing. So this is a very handy little attachment to have. Just have a look at it here. So these are the parts here that attach to the sewing machine. In here is where the fabric will go. This dial regulates where the stitching will start. This little piece of metal here indicates where the stitching will start, so you just turn it to adjust it. This on the side right here has a W to an N, wide to narrow, so that'll be the width of the stitches. Box will come, you have all your pieces, this attachment, which I'll show you how to put on here, manual, which I've scanned below if you don't have, and a number of templates to make your buttonholes with. So the first thing you need to do is choose your buttonhole size, so whatever your button, however big you want to do it. If you like, you can make a sampler piece, which I recommend in the book, with all of the different sizes, and make a little note beside them, and then you'll know exactly how they're going to turn out every time. So the first step is to pop. Now to get this back piece off, you see it's just a little hook, so you just have to sort of push it forward and sort of pull it off the hook. This is the template I've chosen. They'll only go in one way, so you'll know once you get it in. Sometimes you may have to give it a little wiggle. There's the gear on the inside, so you might have to give this plate a little wiggle to make sure that it gets inside the gear, but once it fits, it sits almost flush, but you'll know when it fits right. Hook it back on. And then our next step, you're going to need a small screwdriver. This plate here comes with a screw. As you can see, there are 2 holes beside the plate. So what's going to happen is I'm going to make sure that this long hole here sits over the hole where the needle goes down. So maybe just gently pull the needle down, line it up, and then this will slide sort of back and forth in this little slot. So just line it up, maybe give it a little turn with your fingers. Get this on, and you're going to want this firm. It's best to use a screwdriver and get it nice and tight, because it's got to stay where it is. If this moves out of the way and your needle comes down onto it, you could break the needle. So there we are. And then what we're going to do is unscrew this zipper foot here. We're going to take this little foot off, keep the screw. Now this needs to line up, so this little sort of claw thing needs to hook onto this dial, which is the dial that holds the screw that holds the needle in place. And then this part needs to hook around here where our other presser foot was. So this piece is going over the piece that we screwed on. You're going to tuck it around. It takes a little bit of fiddling, fine if you kind of put it in at an angle, because you have to get both pieces attached at the same time. There we are. And then put the screw, tighten the screw back in. Sometimes you have to fiddle with it just to get the There we are. So just get that nice and lined up. Screw that on. Okay. Now we're getting ready to go. So we're going to take our fabric, pull the needle up. We're going to take our fabric, and the fabric is going to go between this plate that we've sewn on and the bottom of the buttonholing machine. Alright, so it's got to fit in between there. Can be kind of hard to do if you've got a larger or thicker piece of fabric, but when you're practicing, start with something fairly thin just to get the hang of it. Now we're going to lower the foot, and we're going to use the dial. I'm going to just turn this dial up here, and you see it moves it around the template. So we're going to bring it back right up here to the top, because I want to start at the top and make sure, see, it's gone fairly close to my edge here. It actually looks like I would go over the edge. So had I started it down here, I might not have realized it and then sewn off the edge. So it's usually a good idea to have it, there we are. Sometimes it can get a little sticky pulling the fabric between here. So now I've got this all set up. I'm going to start to sew, and I'm going to sew around twice. I find that is a better, make sure that you get everything. So I'm just going to show you sewing around twice. Okay, so here we've gone around once. You can see that's pretty serviceable buttonhole, but maybe you're planning on this being something you're going to use pretty often, so you're probably going to want to go around one more time and just make sure that it's all filled in. We're going to go around one more time. And as you can see, it moves the fabric back and forth. The needle is still moving straight up and down. The fabric is being switched back and forth between the plate that we installed and the machine. There we are. We come all the way around again. And as this is such I've got a good grip in here. Sometimes you might have to make sure, keep an eye on it and wiggle it around, but as you can see, I had a very good grip, and I just had to let the machine do the work. So there we are. We have a lovely buttonhole. Make sure our needle's not out of the way. And, as I said, this can be a little sticky sometimes. Pull that out. So now that we have our lovely buttonhole, we're going to trim here, trim the threads. Now, the other thing you're going to need for this is a little X-Acto knife. And making sure you put this on a surface you can beat up. As you can see, this table is a mess. But, a wooden cutting board from the dollar store is a good idea. You can mess that up and it doesn't matter. Alright, and then just line it up, slice down the middle, and there you go. There's your nice tidy buttonhole that you made on a machine that couldn't possibly make a buttonhole. And it's much nicer than it would ever look if I did it by hand. So that, and you just take it off the same way you put it back on. Make sure you keep all the parts together in a container. These are great because they close. They're pretty tough, but you're not going to want to lose any of these parts. These pieces are hard to find, so make sure you keep track of all your parts and you put everything away properly when you're finished, so that you can keep using this again and again, like this machine has been used for 100 years. Thanks for watching.